Did you hear about the baker who tried to bake a Christmas turkey but ended up with a pastry puff instead? Yes, indeed, a certain baker. Let's call him Mr. Puff. Now, Mr. Puff was renowned for his croissants and pastries. But when it came to roasting turkeys, well, let's just say his oven had other plans. One Christmas, Mr. Puff decided to try his hand at roasting a turkey. He lovingly slathered it in butter, seasoned it with his favorite spices, and popped it into his trusty oven. Hours later, out came a beautifully golden puff pastry? Yes, somehow, his oven had transformed the turkey into a giant puff pastry. The townsfolk still chuckle about Mr. Puff's Christmas kitchen catastrophe. So if you fancy a turkey roast rather than a pastry puff this Christmas, stick around. Let's dive into the art of roasting a turkey. Now, let's ensure you don't end up with a pastry puff turkey this Christmas. It's hunting season. No, not for deer. We're hunting for the perfect turkey. So let's dive right into it, shall we? The turkey is the centerpiece of your Christmas table, the crowning glory of your festive feast. It's a bit like the bride at a wedding. Everyone's waiting for its grand entrance. So, you want to make sure you've got the right one. Choosing the right turkey isn't just about grabbing the biggest bird in the shop. Oh no, there's a bit more to it than that. You might think of it as a bit of a dating game. Yes, you heard it right, a dating game. It's all about finding the one. First things first, let's talk size. Size does matter, but not in the way you might think. You don't want a turkey that's too big to fit in your oven because, well, that would be a disaster. But you don't want one that's too small either, because nobody wants to be left hungry at Christmas. The key is to aim for about 1.5 pounds per person. So if you're cooking for 6, a 9-pound turkey should do the trick. Next, let's talk freshness. Just like you wouldn't date someone who's been sitting around waiting for too long, you don't want a turkey that's been hanging around in the freezer for months. Fresh is best. You want a turkey that's been strutting its stuff in the farmyard until just a few days ago. Now, the question of organic or not is a bit like asking whether you prefer blondes or brunettes. It's a personal preference. Organic turkeys are reared without any artificial growth hormones or antibiotics. They're also fed a natural diet and have access to outdoor space. Some people swear they taste better, but others say there's no difference. It's really up to you. And finally, just like in a dating show, you're looking for a turkey with good looks. Yes, even turkeys can be attractive. You want a plump, well-rounded bird with a good covering of fat for succulence. Avoid any that look dried out or have torn skin. So there you have it. The hunt for the perfect turkey is a bit like the quest for love. It's about finding the right size, ensuring it's fresh, deciding if organic is your thing, and of course making sure it's easy on the eye. And remember, once you've bagged your perfect bird, treat it with respect. Keep it chilled until it's time for the big event, and then let it come up to room temperature before you start cooking. Remember, the right turkey is the first step towards a roast masterpiece. Now that we've picked our dance partner, it's time to get them ready for the ball. You see, prepping your turkey is a bit like grooming a star for the red carpet. It's all about defrosting, cleaning, and seasoning. Let's start with defrosting. This process is the equivalent of a long, rejuvenating spa day for our turkey. If your turkey is frozen, it needs to thaw before it can strut its stuff. For every 4 pounds of turkey, you'll need to allow a full day of defrosting in the fridge. Never try to speed up this process, folks. No microwaving, no hot water, just patience. It's a virtue after all. Next, it's time for a thorough cleaning. Think of this as our turkey's luxurious bubble bath. Rinse the turkey inside and out, ensuring that you get into all the nooks and crannies. Be sure to remove the giblets and the neck from the cavity. Trust me, no one wants a surprise while carving the turkey. Now, onto the most glamorous part of the prep, the seasoning. Imagine we're the turkey's personal stylist, choosing the perfect outfit for the grand event. The outfit in this case is a mix of herbs and spices. Salt and pepper are the classic little black dress, the fail-safe option that never goes out of style. But don't be afraid to get creative. Rosemary, thyme and sage can add a touch of elegance, or perhaps a hint of smoked paprika for that fiery red carpet look. Remember, the inside of the turkey needs attention too. It's the equivalent of a star's dazzling smile on the red carpet. Rub your chosen spices liberally inside the cavity for an unforgettable taste sensation. And let's not forget the skin. It's like the makeup that completes the look. A good slathering of butter under and over the skin will ensure our turkey is glowing and radiant when it hits the spotlight. Not to mention, it'll keep the meat moist and flavorful. A word of advice, don't stuff your turkey before roasting. It's like wearing a tight dress on the red carpet. It might look good, but it's uncomfortable and could lead to disaster. Stuffing the bird can cause uneven cooking, and we certainly don't want our star suffering from food poisoning. Now, let's talk trussing. You might think of it as the final touch, like selecting the perfect accessories to complement the outfit. Tying the legs together helps the turkey to cook evenly, and it also gives it that classic, picture-perfect look. And there you have it, folks. Our turkey is prepped and ready for the big dance. It's been pampered, primped, and primed to perfection. It's strutting its stuff, all dolled up and ready to steal the show. So, don't underestimate the importance of prepping your turkey. It's not just about cooking, it's about creating a masterpiece, a showstopper that will have everyone talking. It's about transforming an everyday bird into the belle of the ball. With our turkey all dolled up, it's time to hit the oven. Now, let's get our star onto the stage, or in this case, into the oven. Yes, it's showtime, and our turkey has been rehearsing long enough. It's time for the main act, the one we've all been waiting for, the roasting. Imagine the oven as our grand theatre and the turkey, our prima donna. It's time to heat up the stage, or rather, preheat the oven. We're going for a solid 325 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the sweet spot for our bird to shine. Not too hot, not too cold, just right, like Goldilocks porridge. While our theatre heats up, let's talk about the costume. The turkey should be dressed to impress. A light brush of melted butter all over the skin will give our star a golden sheen, not to mention that it makes the skin oh so crispy. And now the moment of anticipation. The oven is preheated, the turkey is dressed and ready. In it goes into the oven, the grand performance begins. But how long should the show go on, you ask? Well, that's where it gets a bit technical. A good rule of thumb is about 15 minutes per pound for an unstuffed turkey. So if our turkey weighs around 16 pounds, we're looking at approximately 4 hours. But remember, this is an approximation. We're not baking cookies here, we're roasting a star. Now, you wouldn't want your star to dry out during the performance, would you? So about every 45 minutes, let's baste our star with its own juices. This keeps the bird moist and tender and adds to the overall flavor. Just imagine it, our star, basking in its own glory, getting more delicious with every passing minute. Halfway through the show, let's do a quick costume change. Cover the turkey with a tent of aluminium foil to prevent the skin from browning too much. This is the equivalent of our star donning a fabulous new outfit for the second act. And how will we know when the show's over, when our star is ready for the final bow? Well, we're not just relying on time here. Oh no, we're going to use a meat thermometer. It's the applause meter for our turkey. Insert it into the thickest part of the bird's thigh, avoiding the bone. A reading of 165 degrees Fahrenheit means it's curtain call. But wait, our star isn't ready for the table just yet. Let it rest for about 20 minutes before carving. This allows the juices to redistribute, ensuring every bite is juicy and flavorful. This is the equivalent of our star taking a well-deserved rest in the green room, soaking up the adoration. Roasting a turkey might seem like a daunting task, like directing a grand theatre production, but with the right steps and a bit of humour, you can put on a show-stopping performance in your own kitchen. It's not just about cooking a bird, it's about creating a memorable experience, a feast worthy of applause. So there you have it, a step-by-step guide to roasting your turkey, or rather directing the grand performance of your star. Remember the key points: preheat your oven, dress your turkey, time it well, baste regularly, and let it rest before the grand finale. And now for the moment of truth. It's time to bring our star to the table. Voila, our star is ready for its grand reveal. Now here's where the real magic happens, the moment we've all been waiting for. But just like a grand diva waiting in the wings, our turkey needs its moment to rest, to soak in the applause, or in this case, the warmth of the oven before making its grand entrance. Now you might be wondering, why does a turkey need to rest? Well, dear friend, just as you'd need a moment to catch your breath after a marathon, so does our turkey after its oven ordeal. Resting allows all those delicious juices that have been excitedly bubbling away to settle back into the meat, ensuring each slice is moist and tender. So, let's give our star performer a good 15 to 20 minutes to rest under a cozy foil blanket. Now, on to carving. Carving a turkey can seem like a daunting task, but worry not, for I have a few tips up my sleeve to make you a carving connoisseur. Always remember, the sharper your knife, the easier your task. So make sure your carving knife is sharp enough to slice through butter. We start by removing the legs, just like you'd start with the shoes if you were undressing a superstar. Trust me, it's not as scandalous as it sounds. Simply cut through the skin between the body and the leg, pop the joint out, and slice through. Next, we move to the wings, because what's a diva without her flashy accessories? Again, find the joint and slice through it. And now, for the main attraction, the breast meat. Think of it as the show-stopping gown our superstar is wearing. Start from the top and slice downwards. following the curve of the body just as a tailor would while designing a bespoke outfit. Once you've carved your turkey, it's time for the presentation. And we all know, presentation is key. Just as a celebrity wouldn't just wander onto the red carpet, our turkey doesn't just wander onto the table. Arrange the slices on a platter, with the legs and wings at the side. Garnish with some fresh herbs, maybe some cranberries for a pop of color. Remember, we eat with our eyes first. Now imagine the gasps of delight as you enter the room, platter in hand, the star of the show making its grand entrance, the mouth-watering aroma wafting through the room, the beautifully carved and presented slices, the anticipation of that first bite. It's a moment of triumph, a moment of joy, a moment of utter deliciousness. And there you have it, folks. A perfect roast turkey that's sure to steal the show this Christmas.